Okay. The Human Centipede versus April Fool's Day. Uh,
Oh
um,
god, that's
now I gotta try and defend my position here, and
yes, you
my
do.
my position here is that I've only seen both of these movies maybe once or twice ever, and it's been a long time since I've seen The Human Centipede. I don't necessarily know if I like one over the other. Right now, it's kind of like I've seen both and I barely remember both. So I only went with Human Centipede just because, really, more just how fucked up the concept is, and somehow that concept is interesting enough for me to say, hey, I'd probably check that out again. Whereas April Fool's Day, it kind of feels like every other 80s slasher movie that kind of gets lost in the mix.
I'll just say, as a fan of 80s slashes, I'm okay with that.
I'm a fan of 80s slasher movies too, but I don't know. It's just one of those movies that has never really taken off for me. So, yeah, I've only seen it maybe twice ever, and I'm not clamoring to go back to it anytime soon. So, I don't know. Maybe I watch a Human Centipede again and I say, what the hell is this shit?
Yeah,
But, yeah.
I'll say for my part, I've only actually seen the Human Centipede once, and it's been quite a long time. And the concept itself may be interesting. I remember being somewhat, I was probably disgusted at the time, but I have to imagine it's just not a very fun movie to watch. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll go back and see it again, and I'm having another fun. I just highly doubt it. And even if I did have fun watching it again, I personally enjoy April Fool's Day quite a bit. So yeah, this one, there's just no way that Human Centipede could actually win. Out of interest, this is not related to this per se. Have you seen the other two Human Centipede movies?
Yeah, I've seen the second one for sure. I have all of them on Blu-ray. I can't remember if I've watched all of the third movie, but I know I've seen some of it.
Yeah,
So
I asked because I've actually only seen the first one. I've never seen the other two, nor do I have a deep desire to do so, to be honest. I
yeah,
feel like just knowing the plots of them, I'm probably okay.
the second one is really weird. It's really out there. So I don't know. Some people get off on that. I don't know, but I guess with the Human Centipede, I just can't stop thinking about like the position in which who is at the front and back and middle. Like clearly, being in the middle is, well, really, if you're not at the front, you're in a pretty bad position.
I mean, certainly it's a horrifying concept. I have to, well, I'm going to say I have to assume. I really have no idea how moderately, God, moderately accurate it is. I have to assume not particularly, but it is somewhat of a horrifying concept, well, mixed in with disgusting. So, some
Yeah,
quality stuff.
and as they say in Clerks 2, I believe, you never go ass to mouth. So there's a couple of people going ass to mouth in that one, and yeah, there's a good reason why you never do that. All right, moving on. Now we've got My Bloody Valentine from 1981 versus Body Melt from 1993, which is an Australian movie. A
I was going
very
to say, if you see
fucked
some
up.
Australian pride here, it's going to be
Oh
disappointing.
yeah, hell's yeah. Um, I'm gonna go My Bloody Valentine. Yeah. Though with that being said, even though I think as a whole Body Melt is not a particularly good movie, it does have moments in the movie that are very good. Like just in terms of like effects and things like that. Like if you like gross movies where people's faces falling apart and all that kind of stuff, you can get a few good rises out of Body Melt, but it does, I don't know, it goes off the rails here and there in terms of the plot, and uh, I don't know, it's just not as consistently enjoyable as My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, and this might go without saying, but I'm naturally a big fan of My Bloody Valentine. If you've seen any previous videos, I actually think Body Mount. No, I don't think it's a good movie. I think it's below average. I do think it's really interesting though, and I think that, like Jackie said, I think the effects can be pretty decent. I just think the story has some elements that I wish they had just executed differently. Like I really like the idea behind the movie. I just don't particularly care for the execution, especially with all the goofy humor they throw in it. I say humor. I found it more cringy than anything else. But it's a movie I honestly wish I liked more. And certainly, I know some people out there have fun with it, and I just haven't been able to get into that mindset. But this is another thing where it doesn't particularly matter because I can't imagine choosing that many movies over My Bloody Valentine. So
Yeah.
I tried.
Anyways, let's go on. So we're sticking with Body Melt, but this time we're going up against Pyewacket. Uh, so I've only seen Pyewacket once, and it was a few years ago. I remember it being all right. I didn't like particularly feel one way or the other about it. I know there's a lot of people out there who think it's a good underrated type movie. Um, I just don't really remember it too well, and I remember Body Melt a lot more, and that's really what is influencing my decision here. Is that I just find one more memorable than the other.
No, I'll say for me, I've only seen Pyrocket once myself, and I find it. I was hoping to like it a lot more than I did. Like I thought it was okay, but I was somewhat underwhelmed. Like once I finished the movie, I'm like, that's it, and I just wish it packed a bit more punch. That said, I do think it's a lot more consistent in its. I mean, it may not necessarily be a fun movie to watch, but I do think it's a lot more consistent than Body Mart was. But this is, to be completely fair, this was a little closer, well, quite a bit closer than the last matchup was. So I don't mean to hate on Body Mart. It's just way too goofy at times, and I just remember that one gas station scene, and God, I hate it so fucking much.
Well, I got a rep for Australia here, so uh, yeah, I can't two movies in a row go against an Australian classic like Body Melt. All right. Okay. Cheerleader Camp versus Cherry Falls. Um, yeah, I'm only picking Cherry Falls because I don't really remember Cheerleader Camp all that well, but I do remember it was kind of a very average type movie. And not that Cherry Falls is well above average, but I think it is at least slightly above average movie. So I'm gonna just go with that. Though I do find it very funny that Cherry Falls is essentially about this killer who seems to be going around hacking up virgins, and the genius idea that all the high schoolers have is to just have one massive orgy. And I won't really explain too much else what happens, but I don't know. It's a very interesting survival method, but let's just say it didn't entirely work. But
Yeah, so I think Chili the Camp's an okay movie. Like Chucky said, it's just like a sort of a run of the mill late 80s slasher. I don't have any big issues with it per se. It's just somewhat forgettable, personally speaking. I actually enjoyed Cherry Falls a decent amount. Um, no, I wish there's some things I wish some late 90s and early 2000s slashers. I wish they didn't feel as tame as they do. But I generally think Cherry Falls is fun, and I do like the ending. So this is it particularly close. I think both movies are decent, but Cherry Falls I actually do find around above average. So for the win,
yeah,
plus I
the,
really think Brittany Murphy does a good job in it too.
yeah. there's a lot of like incels probably who love the idea of that movie, like, or dipshit losers who can't get chicks. They're like, oh man, I wish that happened to me, where essentially all these high school girls had no choice but to fuck me. Were you about to say something?
I was just going to say, like, comment, and subscribe, Russ.
Yeah, do all the usual YouTube bullshit.
Notifications, dude. It's really fun.
Smash that like button.